Hi everyone, so we thought we'd do a part 2 of our Disney planning tips. These are the tips that we kind of think are useful for when you're actually in Disney World.
Okay, so the first tip we're going to cover, it follows directly on from our final tip from our last video, and it's if you do have a plan, don't have to stick to it rigidly. Now, that might seem like weird advice considering we told you to make a plan in the first place, but one of the things that we found is that if you're not feeling something or you're not in the mood for it and you rigidly stick to it just because that's what your plan says, you're not going to enjoy it as much. And this is your holiday, so if you feel like doing something else, do something else.
It definitely sounds like a contradiction, so go in there with quite a strong plan to start with. But yeah, as Ash said, don't always stick to it, because if it's pouring with rain, you might not want to go to Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach. And if you're really tired, you might not want to do Universal Studios, you might just want to go shopping. Maybe even just switching a couple of days around and still sticking to the plan is great. It just gives everyone a little bit more flexibility, but you still have that plan in place, so you kind of have an idea of what you're doing every day.
And if you've made the itinerary like we suggested, you'll see which days you can and can't switch, because you'll know that you've got something immovable on those days. So you can just go, okay, well we can't move that day, but this day, pretty open, we'll just switch that one around and we'll do things in the order that we want them to. And it'll just mean that you get a really great time and you don't feel really strung into your plan.
So our second tip is something to really make use of in the parks during the really hot months. If you didn't know, all quick service locations will actually give you a free cup of cold sort of tap water, I believe. Most of the time they add ice to it, so it's a lot better than the sort of drinking fountains. It's actually cold and it doesn't dribble out of a tap, which is really annoying. It doesn't taste the best because, as I said, it's Florida water. Obviously it is safe to drink, but it's free. And when you look sometimes in the parks, the water can be like $2.50, isn't it? Something like that, $3.
It's about $2.50, $3 for a bottle of Dasani. Dasani's not great water. Florida tap water's pretty terrible. But if you're going to be drinking tap water from a water fountain anyway, get it from a cup. They'll give you a straw. Most of the time there'll be ice. It's just a bit more convenient than having to wait in a possible line for the water fountain or use some of the really terrible water fountains that they've got.
It's definitely a lot better for you than drinking fizzy drinks all day. You need to really stay hydrated, and doing this kind of keeps you hydrated, and yeah, it's really helpful.
Now, something I've never made use of, but we managed to make great use of on our last trip, were the washing facilities at our resort. They had washers and dryers, and you could go and wash your clothes, which was absolutely fantastic because it meant that we could bring less, which meant we could bring more back, which was the important thing.
It really is, and it's such a simple process. I mean, in Disney they have a website, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it says it all in your resort rooms and everything, and it actually, it has the number of your machine on it, and it'll tell you what time the cycle finishes, and the cycles are usually about 30 minutes. So what we did is we dropped pretty much, I think we fit both of our lots of laundry in one machine.
It was a big machine.
It is a big machine. Chucked it all in there, went and had dinner at Sasagula Floatworks in our resort, and then it was done. We came back, stuck it in the dryer, literally within an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes, all of our clothes were clean, and we could wear them again and be an outfit repeater for the holiday. But as Ash said, meant I could bring a lot more stuff back. I was still overweight, but imagine how much more overweight my case would have been if I took more clothes. So think about that. So many more plush you could take home with you.
They had a vending machine full of the basic sort of washing stuff that you'll need. So your soap, your detergent, your dryer sheets. We'd bought stuff from Publix because we didn't know that was there. But it worked out at about the same price for a big bottle as it was for one of each of the things. You could pay by card as well, which was absolutely fantastic. So I can definitely recommend doing some washing on holiday. Sounds like such a chore to be recommending, but it really made our holiday a lot easier.
So on the dining plan, you get given a refillable mug, and this is a mug that you can use in any of the resorts, I believe, and you can just use it and fill it up as many times as you like. However, if you also get a meal in your resort, you get the option of getting a drink with that, such as a bottled, we use Fanta, water, orange juice. But because we had our refillable mug, we never really drank those. So we actually kept them in the fridge in our room, and days out, like to Universal Studios or SeaWorld or even to Disney, we took the bottle that we got with the meal. And it saved us loads of money because, yeah, as I said, we got to Universal Studios, didn't have to spend any money on drinks because we had a load in our bag that we got free with our meals.
It's just an extra way to make a bit of extra use out of that. So when you're not at your resort, you know you're probably going to need a drink. You don't have to spend a snack credit to get one. You didn't have to drink the tap water. You had a nice bottle of whatever drink that you managed to bring with you from the resort was. So it was a really great way to make use of that and not let it go to waste. Because it does seem like a little bit of a waste when you're sat in the resort and you're drinking your bottled drink and you know you've got your refillable mug just up in the room. Okay, so our final tip is that when you're spending money on your Magic Band, it's a really fun way to buy stuff, but you need to keep track of what you're spending. So if you are going to be buying a lot of things using the Magic Band, we suggest that you would go down to reception and get a statement every couple of days just to make sure that you know exactly how much you've spent and it's not going to be a horrible surprise at the end of the holiday.
This was a fun game I like to play, guessing how much I spent, because you don't think about it. It's like when you pay contactless in this country. I don't even, which is probably really bad, I don't even look at the amount on the machines anymore.
No, you just touch your card to it.
Like,
and you're like, yeah.
You've got contactless? Okay, I've paid it. Oh, how much was that? Oh, I don't know.
It doesn't even matter.
And the fact that in Disney, there isn't a limit like there is on the contactless cards. Like, I would buy loads of stuff and then I wouldn't even listen. I'd already be filling out my form and I'd just be scanning my band. I think at the end of the holiday, I mean, I did get a couple of statements. I was still like, how much do we think I spent? It's not until you go down to your gift shop and start picking up all these bags that you realise, oh, I spent quite a lot yesterday, because it's just going to take it away from you.
So yeah, just check in every now and again, see what your balance is like. You know, it is a bit like a credit card. You've got to be careful with it, and it is so easy to rack up more debt than you've realised. So just make sure that you haven't gone too extreme.
And just so you know, you can actually pay it off with cash as you go along if you like. I actually saved all the money to the end and it comes off your card that you've put with the account the night before you go home, but you can go to reception and pay it off with cash every couple of days if you'd like to do it that way, just so that you know you're starting a new day with a zero balance. Yeah, so I think there were some pretty good tips. I really kind of learned most of those on our last trip, so it's good that we've kind of got them to share with you guys, and we're hopefully going to find sort of loads more tips and tricks when we go next time. But thank you once again for watching, and I hope you liked our little 2-part planning series, and we will see you next time. Bye!
Bye.